All rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, public comment. Did you have something you wanted to comment on, or are you on the agenda?
No, I haven't been to a meeting for a long time. I thought, see what goes on.
Okay. Anything to say, or?
Excuse me?
You got anything to say, or just gonna watch?
Do you have anything to address us on?
Not right now, no.
Okay. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of 6/25/19.
Also moved.
I'll second.
Moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner comments and committee reports.
I have none.
Okay, I had a multi-county health meeting last Tuesday night. Most of it was spent reading and approving the health plan for the multi-county agency. We did get that approved. All the budget numbers look good. Everything seems to be progressing fine with them. I also had erroneously reported that I had any K.S.A. environmental services and NECAP meetings. They're July 18th, so I was premature when I thought they were. That's all.
Good. Bill? I have nothing either. Reports from elected officials or department heads. That you or?
No, I didn't have anything. I was just in here for our little budget discussion we were going to have.
Okay. So why don't we go ahead and have that discussion with it? Is Jamie coming in?
I did talk with Emily out at Road and Bridge, and she said letters on the thistles did go out last week, so that's progressing as it should. If there's any reports on thistles, let someone know, and all of you. She's been in contact with Connie, so that's working out well.
Okay, let's, first of all, I want to back to my file here. I want to do a recognition. Jeannie Madison, our Human Resource Director. She just completed the Kansas Association of Counties, all the requirements for the Excellence Certificate in the Foundation of Counties Leadership Program. She received a frame. Was it frame?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so let's bring it up here and show everybody. She completed it, and it's a big. It takes a lot of hours to actually complete with it. So
Yeah.
it's our sincere congratulations from the entire county commissioners that you've completed this, and I think we should always try to celebrate success.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for what you've done. Okay.
Good job.
We were going to have a real quick discussion on the budgets, where we are. And I think the big question was, who should do the final? Should Patsy be involved, or she's been involved a couple of years ago?
So how we did it last year was I did the majority of it, and Patsy did help me with a few things, and then did an overview, which I had need to touch base with her and see if she's still willing to do that. But I would like her to do that.
Okay.
Just to make sure everything in that workbook is complete and everything's where it needs to be, and definitely give some oversight on that. So, and we discussed, Connie, Michelle, and I discussed that I think the three of us working together, we should be able to manage the majority of it internally.
I was hoping that maybe in the workshop next week at 9 o'clock, we can all sit down and kind of go through what we got to get completed in the budgets, what county commissioners need to do, what department heads need to do, what elected officials need to do. Do we need to have some more conversation with some people?
Okay.
I think we should have that conversation next week during the budget workshop. And we've been so busy dealing with road and bridge things. It's a little easy for us to get off the budget. The budget, so we're hoping you guys will keep us on task. We're supposed to keep you on task, but I think you need to keep us on task.
I think, yeah, if we work together, it'd be better, but yeah, everything with road and bridge and a lot of other things going on that I need to try to switch gears to that.
And I realize you're also on a lot of projects yourself. So. Anything else anybody wants to add or questions? I think where you guys are heading would be good. Patsy's always a good second eyes. She's trained in auditing and she's trained in all those things. So.
And our auditors will actually be here July 15th through the 19th. And there's certain things of the budget that we'll need from them that they have to get through their process too. So
Okay.
That will help.
They're going to make it by the July 26th deadline?
Hope so. He says so.
Okay. That was their commitment. We'll see if they do it. So, okay. Well, that's probably all we have on this subject anymore. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks a lot.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Shelley, you're up.
Hi. Did you guys receive the email I sent you the 25th in reference to the behavioral health budget? Did you guys have any questions?
I know it was self-explanatory.
Okay. The board did approve it by email, so I just need you guys to approve it and then get a signature.
Okay.
So.
Signature
Just one.
Okay, so the chair would entertain a motion to allow the chairman to sign the signatory approval of the behavioral health grant funds revised budget summary and budget hearing. Moved by Bill.
Second.
Second by Eric. Any further discussion? Hearing none, ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passes 3-0. Want to take this with you? Give you a
Yes.
copy?
I can get you a copy, Michelle.
Just copy and scan.
Okay. All right. All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay, so we have our next thing on the agenda is at 1:30. That's 20 minutes from now. Do we have anything else? Did you have anything you want to add?
I'm Francis Wentz here about the cross.
Okay, you're on the agenda for 1:45.
For what time?
1:45. So, we're going to recess for 15 minutes? Or is there other things you want to discuss?
I'm trying to look through.
Pat should be coming. We tabled that easement thing down there from Foster, but we went ahead and went with engineering, so that's not really a holdup, I guess. Hopefully he had the agreement signed for that bridge project.
Michelle, last week we talked about setting a bill that Leavenworth County for the bridge project? Did you
correct.
send them all?
Yes,
So we'll just have to wait back for them to approve that.
correct.
Okay, the chair entertain a motion to recess until 1:25.
Also move.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we are in recess.
Okay.
We're out of recess. We're back in open session. Next item on the agenda is Roger Denton, GIS coordinator, the West Star Bridge proposal.
Well, as part of the West Star Bridge proposal, I had talked to you that there are two structures in the western part of the county that West Star is going to be holding a project to go over. And as part of those two, West Star is proposing to pay you to have those rebuilt. As the payment is based on an estimate that they have projected, my suggestion to you is going to be that you let me get more information from local contractors on what the cost would be, and then I'd bring those back to you so that we know that the amount that West Star is suggesting they'd pay will cover the full cost of that construction. If that be the case, then at that point you can then execute those contracts. They have given a contract to you, which I've supplied to you, that would cover the construction of those. They wanted to pay you roughly half of it up front and the other half upon completion. So it would just mean that we would have to.
Did we check out the drainage? Because, you know, you're going from a bridge to a tube. It's got to grade so many acres.
Well, I don't know what plans, I haven't seen any plans at all.
I haven't either, and I haven't really taken a strong look at these yet, but I would probably.
I'm not for sure which ones they are. One of them I think is a fairly large creek. I will go and look at those and visually and see what
because
they are.
No doubt West Star is going to propose a cheaper thing, and maybe we can't come to. Maybe it has to be a bridge.
Well, I think we definitely need to check.
It's one of those we probably ought to go. We should take a look at.
Both of them.
They're trying to push these forward, and I'm just suggesting to you. I want you to know that the offer has been laid forward, and that we should probably have more information before we proceed.
In their communications, were they proposing that that's how much they were willing to give, but they knew that maybe they were figuring an 80-20 split, or were they intending on fully funding both projects?
They're fully intending to fund both projects.
But right now they have an estimate.
Right, and I didn't know whether that estimate was their portion or if they really had stated whether they intended to do the full project.
Nothing in the documentation that I have indicates any sharing in the project for the county.
I mean, we'd need to take that into consideration if they thought that, you know, they were only going to be responsible for certain portions.
So they're
Correct.
they're going to replace these culverts and bridges, whatever you want to call them. And they come up with an estimate. Roger, I'm hearing Roger right. He's going to contact some contractors and get their idea what this should cost. I also would like to think that all of us as county commissioners would want to bid this out and not try to do this work ourselves, because we're staying on our 6 road projects that we're going to try to get done this year. So,
And I also want to bring up, even if they don't fund it 100%, how much they funded, it's like a gift. So if we did have to come up with some money, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that it's still a no-brainer. We need to do it.
Yeah. Evidently, they're deficient for their purposes, and if they're deficient for their purposes, they're probably at the end of their lifespan anyway. So
Well, I think you said they were.
so
I haven't looked, and I don't drive out there a lot simply because there's a limitation to how many hours I have right now to work on things, and it's a 15-mile drive out to those and back. So
would that be something that we could have FSA look and see what this drainage would be on those, and would you want me to look into that?
that'd be wonderful. Or if you want me to make the phone call, I will do that also.
I can do it.
If we can use tubes or not.
Well, once we got the drainage there, then we can figure that out. But you've been swamped with everything. I will.
If you'd like to, that'd be wonderful. They can tell us what we need in terms of how many cubic feet per second it needs to be able to carry, and the pipe diameters will then rate that, and let us know whether or not what they have proposed is sufficient for that drainage.
Well, chances are Westar hasn't overestimated the cost. So we got to make sure. So they're probably razor thin on what can be done for us. We might
We'll
have
see.
differences of opinion.
I have the initial opinion that they might be they may be very conservative on it. Conservative meaning, I think they're covering it because they want you to do it.
Mhm.
I don't think they want an argument out of it because they're trying to hurry this thing along.
58 or 56,000. They're willing to contribute. That's like a gift. Isn't that what the cost estimate was? They had 58, 56.
It's just over 50,000
For both.
for both. Yeah.
And if it helps us out, helps them out, it's a win-win.
Absolutely. And knowing that, we will proceed to do that, to get the additional information for you. Okay.
We're gonna have an appointment with some citizens at 1:45. So I would suggest we move over to see if there's any old or unfinished business.
Have you already done the resolution?
Do you don't have any? So Pat, you want to give us a county council update?
Well, we have, there are 2 resolutions you had talked about, that we had discussed changing substituting some projects to be paid for from the bond proceeds. And there are 3 steps that need to be done for that. And 2 resolutions that are before you. One of them is to add them formally to the project list. And then the second is to request, actually to change the bonding documents themselves. And then that would have to go to the Attorney General for approval afterwards. So if there are questions about the resolutions, please ask.
Okay, so we need this resolution, there's just one resolution document, Pat?
There are 2 resolutions.
I just opened up one, so, okay, yeah, there's 2 here, so. First of all, the chairman declares that there's a quorum, and that, the meeting took place at 1 p.m. and the following members were participating to wit, which would be Eric Knoll, Bill Pohl, and Jack Fowler. There was presented a resolution titled "A Resolution Declaring It Necessary to Build or Repair Existing Bridges in the County under the authority of K.S.A. 68-1103, providing for the issuance of general obligation bonds to pay the costs thereof, 2019 bridge project." Do I have a motion? It's been moved. Commissioner Pohl moved, and it was seconded by Commissioner Knoll. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passes 3-0. Chairman declared the resolution duly adopted. The resolution has been duly numbered as resolution number 2019 1454. And then there is I keep opening up the same one, Pat. I got the second one here. The chair would entertain a motion to providing for a substitute improvement to be financed with the proceedings of the Atchison County, Kansas General Obligation Bond Series 2018. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. A second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Knoll and seconded by Commissioner Pohl. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes 3-0. So I don't have any hard copies of this, Pat, so as far as signing. Okay.
That one there was 1454, and this one is 1455.
Okay, this has to go to the Attorney General, Pat, is that right?
Which is the original, we need to get some
Time on
back
your hands.
to Gilmore and Bell.
Time on my
and
hands.
submission.
They'll do it.
Just come
Okay.
The documents that I need for Gilmore Bell are here. I have the flags. Some of them are for all three of you, some of them are just for you, Jack. So there are 2 sets there. Those are what I need to get back to.
You can start signing that. Just one page up. There you go.
now. Didn't I?
These are all signed here. This one needs to be signed. This one still needs to be signed. Eric, you haven't signed it here. Double check our work, really.
Yeah.
The other one only had 1 page to sign on.
Yeah, so there are so many. It's Michelle, I think, okay. Okay, Pat, do we want to cover resolution accepting fees and mileage reimbursement for jurors of district court in Atchison County today?
That's up to you. Do you want to take this up first? Or do you
Well, they're 145, so I thought we'd do this first.
Well, when Donna Oswald presented the budget for the district court, she mentioned a statute that authorizes the Board of County Commissioners to set juror fees. That is the amount that is paid to jurors for attending court. It was set at $10 per day, and that goes back at least as far as 1971, having been amended or changed since. Both of the district judges have suggested that it be raised to $50 per day, which is authorized under the statute. Donna, when she presented her budget to you, indicated that she did not think it would require a change in her budget for the next year, and she thought that she had adequate funds in there to handle that. It's always going to be the case that if something happens and we have a long jury trial, for example, or several jury trials, serious crime, I guess, that could get to be more expensive, because particularly on very serious crimes, and if there are multiple defendants, you can end up having quite a few jurors that are called in, at least on the first day. But $10 a day
But saying
Not
about
much.
$10 we're gonna go
At least that's what we agreed with Donna when she was here for the workshop, so. Now what about the mileage rate?
Mileage rate is set by statute.
Okay, so that really hasn't changed.
That has not changed.
So the chair will entertain a motion to adopt resolution 2019. Well, that's okay, you can it pretty later.
It's going to be 1456.
1456. It's a resolution establishing fees and mileage reimbursement for jurors in district court of Atchison County. Do I have a motion?
Also move.
Do I have a second?
I think that's too large an increase, so I would not second.
I'll second it for discussion purposes. Any discussion?
I just think going from 10, no doubt 10 is too cheap, but going from 10 to 50, that's a pretty good jump. All in one swoop. That's for everybody that's called in, if you're selected or not, correct?
Well, if they appear, yes.
So that could be 20 people.
I think it's typically 25 or so.
It's going to add a lot to it. It's going to add a lot to that budget. Or a lot to her department. I know by serving one time, I would get $50 for serve. If I see any head nods from 10 to 50, is that too much? Raise? I don't see no.
It's $10 now, right?
$10 currently. Maybe she wants to increase it to 50. First and second.
I would agree with Bill Poll. 10's too cheap, but somewhere needs to be in the middle.
35-ish. You done approved it? You must have done that today.
You know what, Donna was here when you were here.
Dawn was here.
I don't recall.
Eric, you got some thoughts?
Well, I was just wondering if we decided not to do the 50 and went to a 35, do we change that here, or does it need to be rewritten?
Well, it needs to be printed anyway, so I can make that change and print it.
The chair would entertain a motion to change the $50 to 35.
I should move.
I'll second that.
Move to the second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, now back to the resolution. The chair would entertain a motion to pass the resolution for establishing fees and mileage reimbursement for jurors in the district court of Atchison County as amended by the previous motion.
I should move.
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. So when you reprint that, we have to sign it anyway, right?
Yes. Okay. I'm just making sure that I didn't have 50 in there twice. It's only.
Okay.
You get the resolution number.
Okay. We have a discussion with Greg Gehrig, Leroy Service, Mark Service, and Frank Wentz. Discussion about select Walnut Township roads. Who wants to speak? Who's going to speak? Everybody going to speak needs to come up and sit up here.
I can speak if you want me to lead or whatever.
Whatever.
I'll do that. Here.
Greg or Mr. Wentz, if you know.
You're going to speak. It's best if you come up. So we want to see the back of your head on the film. Okay, what can we do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Mark Service, and I talked to Bill Pohl, I talked to Eric since then, but what I was wanting to have a discussion about is on the very end of 254th Road, which I live on. That road ends at Frank Wentz's property, and there's a crossing that goes there across Walnut Creek, and that crossing, I'm going to think I probably contacted, makes a long story short, the crossing's gone. but probably we went to grass with our cows sometime mid-April. So I would say the end of April, 1st of May, I contacted Bill about the crossing. The cap was eroding. It's washed out 2 or 3 times, not terrible, but we fixed it. I fixed it a couple times. They fixed it. We kept maintaining it so we could cross it. Well, this last past big rain, they completely took it. It's gone. I've got 200 acres there that I cannot get to. They've got 40 acres, I think, of their property. Can't get to it. I mean, there's no simple way around getting to it. It's isolated without that crossing. That crossing's always been maintained by the county. Well, let's go back. The county put it in. Over the last, I talked to Mark Gentry, and he said he was involved in putting the last one in. That's 20 or 25 years ago. Those past 20 or 25 years, every time there's a decent rain, it'll wash out both approaches, front and back. I went down there and fixed them every time. Never made a phone call. For 20 or 25 years, I've maintained that, or they have. The township goes across that and maintains it when they grade. Well, now the crossing's gone, and I need to be able to get to that property, so I need some help. So I contacted both people to see about getting it fixed. Haven't got any results that act like they're satisfying. When I talked to Bill last, he said the decision was made, they weren't going to fix it. Talked to Eric the other night, and he said the decision was made, they weren't going to fix it. I got 2 stories from 2 different people today, so I don't know who today is, but there's not been a vote according to Eric. But somehow, I gotta have help. I can't get to 200 acres. I've got 50 cows down there. I cannot get them home.
So is this a county road?
It's a township road, but it's a county crossing. And I think Eric made the mention during my conversation with him that he thought the road was not the 254th road. So if you look at some maps, the 254th road that's on the map, which is incorrect, goes into our old quarry, the service quarry. There's a gate at that quarry site. That road has been gated locked every day since I was 15 years old. It does not go into there. It goes straight onto this crossing and ends at his property line. So they can tell me what they want on maps, but it is incorrect. Bill can verify that gate's been there forever. It gets closed every night. It hasn't the last 10 years since the quarry's been closed. But that is not 254th Road.
Pat asked me a question earlier. I estimated that crossing's probably 60, 80 feet wide.
I would say there's probably a hole in the middle. There's 3 3-foot tubes, so there's probably 15 feet hole in the middle. There's concrete on both sides, and there's a hole in the middle now. So it's probably 40 to 50 feet to get all the way across it. But I'm 57. I can remember there was a crossing before this, and Mark Gentry said he was involved in putting this one in, and so it had to be somewhere in the probably late 80s, early 90s the last time this one was put in. Like I said, I've never called anybody for one bit of help. I've maintained it for all that time, but now I need some help because it's beyond my repair.
I delivered you some pictures Friday.
Yeah, we have them.
You've got some pictures of the width and everything. You look at the concrete where it was done originally, you can see where the county overlaid it with more concrete in the 70s. I did research on this. I've talked to people that are 80 years and older that lived there. There used to be a bridge there back in the day that they crossed with teams and wagons. Back, I don't know if it was the 30s or the 60s, the flood, or 50s, the flood took it out when they put the low water crossing in there. It also took the bridge out up underneath 73 Highway, just east of Kinhanis. That used to go over the hill to the old Atchison County Court, which was later Charlie Services Court. So it's always been a township road, and the county's always maintained it. The county's cleaned the tubes out. I got a county employee here who says he walked through them tubes with Bob Jackson and cleaned the brush and rocks out of them. So it's always been the county. And last August, I notified the county, I was up here, notified them that they're going to lose them tubes because they were washed out bad. Nothing got done. Mark Service, like he said, has patched them up. Pat Winch has patched them up. Now they're gone. It's just a lack of maintenance that's been on them, and now they're gone. But I mean, you know.
When we reviewed the maps, it doesn't show that it's a township or a county.
It's a township road, or a township road, but it's a county crossing.
As I've said, those maps are incorrect. If you look at the map, it shows 254th going into our quarry. That's not the case. Those maps are wrong. if you drive to that area, you can see exactly what I'm trying to explain. It's not right.
This is a satellite view of the map that shows it going into the quarry, and it don't highlight the road going down to my gate.
Okay, that's the map that I was looking at. I mean, it's got Roger Denton's
But there's
but on the official, I mean, it's not a numbered bridge. There's no indication that it's ever been officially a county bridge.
You got it in the archives. There used to be a 70-foot steel bridge there back in the 50s or whenever it got washed out. But I don't know what number the bridge was. After it went out, they put in the crossing.
So I guess I'm going to ask, the decision's going to be made not to fix it based on not being in the archives versus verification from Bob Jackson, which was the county maintainer, Mark Gentry, which is now the bridge and road superintendent. Both can verify that they fixed them the first 2 times. If the archives or the maps are wrong, is that what I'm getting? We're going to get a decision not to fix it?
Well, I think the thing that we face is that if this is not a regular road, either township or county road, is there other places in the county that people are going to come to us for interests that they've created that aren't township or county roads? And I guess the question mark is, what would you like to see us do?
Well, I need it fixed somehow. I can't get to any of my property. Like I said, I've maintained it for 20 years. Never made a phone call. Never asked for any help. Now I need some help.
So what kind of cost do you think this is?
I got no idea. When I first called when I called Bill earlier and he was aware of it, it could have been easily done with just some layover concrete over the top. We filled it full of riprap. It wouldn't have taken much. And it washed out a couple more times. We kept replacing. Finally, it completely took it. So now it's all got to be replaced. It would have been minimal.
I brought that conversation, if you recall. I said Mark called and said he would furnish the rock, but I said, before you do that, Mark, get a hold of Seth. I believe Seth come down there.
Took some pictures, I think.
And did some packing or did a little work, and I thought maybe it was fixed, and then I heard no more until. All the tubes are rotted out on the bottom, so they need to be replaced.
But it still would have held with a cap over it. Now it's going to be pretty costly.
Well, it would have needed to be.
To done right, should have been taken out to start with. Correct.
Well, you can see it in the pictures.
Right. But I mean, for 20, 25 years, it's held again. If it was fixed again, we're probably going to get 20, 25 years out of it again. But what I keep hearing is that no one's for sure if it's a township or county road, but we got witnesses that can verify that it has been.
All our county records say that it's not a township road.
I can't help but those are wrong. I mean, it's showing the township road going into our quarry. That's not correct. That road, the township or county has never been on that road. We shut that gate every night. So whoever's made the maps made it wrong. That gate locked every night at 5 o'clock. There's never been a township or county road. If you look at the aerial map that Eric's got, that road will wrap all the way back around and come back out on 256, which is all our private road, except for the very top of the hill where Gary Lutz lives. We maintain that whole mile and a quarter. That's not 254. Would you mind marking this?
Yeah, right. This is the road here, and
This is going south.
Yeah.
Roger, I have a question. If there had been a steel structure back even in the 50s, and then it was either closed or replaced with something, would that disappear off the road records?
You got a different highlighter?
That had been a county road or county bridge, or
It's going to take a different color.
It may or may not have stayed on the record. I mean,
I'm just
all we
curious.
can do is go back and look at what we have. And that's what I have to do, is go back and look at whatever records they are. And I tell everyone that when I look at these records, nothing is absolute. I can just tell you the best I can tell from what I can see right now. someone else could walk in with with a new paper that shows
the gate for the
we're always trying to find out who
This
has
is,
what and what
this is
the actual locations are.
254.
There was
Gate is right on the property.
a steel bridge. I don't know what
254 actually.
construction would be, but it had steel arch over it and had a number on it.
Question right here.
Now, what
This
happened
is a private way.
here, as far as paperwork goes,
Background,
I have no idea.
This is all property.
But in my lifetime, there was a steel
It's incorrect.
bridge with a wood floor in it that went across there, and we used it. I used to ride Old Daisy across that. Back a really long time ago, we drove a team and wagon down through there. There's a township road that goes all the way through the Wentz property and went all the way through at that time was Max Walters' property, who sold it to Rygard, who sold it to Service. And there was a township road that went all the way back to 200, what do I live on? 242nd Road. They come all the way back out to 242nd Road. And at that time, I don't know how those roads were, well, they weren't numbered. Most of us old fellows would refer to a name to a road, like the St. Pat's Road, Herman Soxy Road on 258th Road down. And
That was the culture of the time.
excuse
It was
me?
the cultures of the time.
Yes, yes.
A lot of those roads were abandoned when they put the new Highway 73 in through there.
That's
They cut farms into, did away with some of the roads. And I've had lots of people where one road there, and they got a road that goes up to the houses. Well, there's always been numbered roads, we take care of them. Now, if they start calling, well, that just goes to one house, it's a private drive. Does that mean that there's a lot of these roads that are, I can start calling private drives? I mean, there's no other way through them. They go to one spot, you turn around, come out. I mean, this is something that's got to be replaced.
I'm not sure the house private drive is an apples and oranges.
Well,
thing,
I mean,
so.
I've heard that there's only one house back there nobody lives in no more, but they go in and out of there to get to the farm and stuff. So it's a private, it's Indian road, private road. We don't have to maintain it. Well, I maintain it. I've maintained it for 19 years. It was maintained before I was in there. It was maintained when Bill Davidsky was in there, Earl Wilburn. I mean, I go on and go on all the way back. It was maintained. And, I mean, I've done a lot of talking to a lot of the older guys that are still with us today. And they tell me the stories about all the roads down in there. And that's how I learned about a lot of them. But I mean, if the conclusion is going to come, well, there's only one person that has to get back in there and nobody else. Well, that falls on a lot of roads.
I don't think.
Greg, I'm sorry. Greg, I don't think that's what we're saying. We're saying the road isn't shown as a township or a
I
county
know,
road.
it's just.
In our system, that's not showing it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the number of houses or it's not shown as a road.
Well, it's a road. It's been there forever.
I know it's a road, but on our system, it's not a dedicated township or
Well, I mean, I don't
county
know
road.
how you look up and get more archive. You got to go to people and look it up, or what?
Well, we have it on our system.
But whoever put that system in has been incorrect. In fact, I can show you on the map that's going into the quarry road is a private road. So whoever made that map, whenever that was done, was incorrect.
I'd be willing to bet that everything that was there years ago necessarily isn't on there. I wouldn't disagree with that
Right,
at all.
but I'm just saying, so that's just been, there's never been an issue, so that's just been how it's set in stone now that that's the road. That is not the road.
Well, I know that a few years ago that we reached out to the townships to find out, make sure that we had all of the roads that they were maintaining now. And this road was not listed on
The maintenance.
what the township provided back as being maintained by them.
But that's the argument. It was, but it's showing going into the quarry, which is incorrect. It's maintained going on to the end of 254.
We asked the township, what roads are you actually maintaining?
And according to your map, it's showing going into our quarry.
And you're not,
I am.
maybe I'm doing a poor job of communicating it, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. We asked the township, what roads are you actually maintaining? And this road was not identified by the township as a road that they were maintaining.
Okay, then according to your map,
So,
was this road the one that they're showing they maintain? The one going through that quarry gate? That's what the map is showing. That's what I'm saying. That's incorrect. Because they never maintained that road.
The map that is before you isn't necessarily the map you're talking about.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is that's not in reference?
County doesn't maintain, I think this is off of, it has our parcel lines on it and stuff, but the county doesn't maintain those roads, the township does.
Right.
And I don't know whether the township identified where they stopped on 254th Road, but I do know that this road wasn't on it.
Pat, do you have the map that you're talking about?
Roger does. So,
Okay, maybe if we could produce that and show them what came back from the township.
and that doesn't necessarily answer the question either, because there was another one that we've just recently been talking about that wasn't on there either. But we're, after researching it, are convinced it's a county road or a township road, and we're with a similar issue with a bridge that we need to maintain. So I think probably some more study needs to be done on it. You told me a couple things that I had not heard before about that there was a 70-foot steel structure bridge on there.
There is not one. There's never been a 7-foot steel structure on this crossing.
That's the one that got washed out.
It was a wooden bridge. There's an old wooden bridge.
That had the steel arches
Well, that
across.
could be. That could be. But it was a wooden
You said
bridge.
steel with a wood floor.
Yeah.
The gentleman here
That
said.
could be.
Well, I've been kind of quiet, kind of concentrated on rock hard place, holding the service. Been friends for years, but I hate to, hearing about the bridge, if we could prove that, I'd like to do everything I could to help you. But you gotta also realize that we can't just start fixing everything.
And I understand, but my argument is that whenever the township provided you with the roads they were maintaining, they're showing they're maintaining veering off into the quarry road as 254, which that is not correct. Whenever that information was provided, that's not right, and it slipped through the cracks for all these years.
That isn't the map that he's talking about.
But it's still the same. I mean, I know it's not, but that's how it's getting misinterpreted because they're saying that was 254th, which it is not. 250. The gate stopped that road. 254th went to theirs. What they were maintaining, but the maps were incorrect.
Township said they weren't maintaining that part of the road.
But that's what I'm trying to say. That it's misinterpreted. David Told that was a township trustee. We can name all of them. They have all went across that crossing. I've got a blown field on the bottom and the other side of that crossing before they get to their property. That's where they've got to turn around their motor grader. There's no room to turn around. They turn around in my field, come back across. They went across there since I was a kid. I mean, I can get you all the references or documentation that they've done it. I can get you documentation that the county put it in. I can't help it. It's not on the maps. And we're still back to the same issue as I told Eric. I've got 50 cows down there. What am I going to leave them there all winter? I cannot get to them. I'm going through the creek with an ATV, but I cannot get to them. I maintained it to get them there, thinking it would get fixed if there was someone who done something. But now I'm at ends somehow to get to them. I mean, do we need to get Mark Gentry in here to be a witness saying that he helped put it in there? It is a county road. Mark's been in the county forever. He can tell you how many times he's been down there.
There's no dispute.
Okay, but it's just a dispute because it's not on the map as a county road. That's a dispute.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I can tell you the maps are incorrect, but that's as far as we can get them.
If we can find proof that it is a county bridge, I don't think we'd have any problem.
Well, it doesn't look like the maps are going to provide proof because the maps are incorrect.
In 1950, let's say. Because we're just have people who can remember the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So there was definitely a bridge there. Now, I don't know how a bridge. Did we abandon the bridge side or what happened? Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows.
My dad said when the bridge washed out, he helped pull it back up, and he told me who it was. I wish he would have came, but he couldn't. But he told me who the township trustee was. I think it was Hegarty, and they helped him cut it up, and they buried it and burned it. Then they put the low water concrete crossing in. That would have probably been in the late 70s, late 80s maybe. 70s or 80s. They put a crossing in. That one's once gone, and this one here has been put in maybe in the 90s. But the original first concrete crossing was probably put in the 70s. Then the one that's there now they redid it probably in the late 80s, early 90s. That's what I said. Mark Gentry could tell you, Bob Jackson could tell you when this one was put in, but there was one prior to that, a concrete crossing, probably in the 70s.
Let me float this idea. What about if we try to share the cost of doing this?
Well, here's what I'm up against. Either you guys fix it or I'm going to have to fix it. Now, I think if I got to fix it, that's, for less words, bullshit.
I'm not doubting that you'd say
But
that.
I'm going to have to fix it if someone doesn't. I got to get there somehow.
Is there a way we can work together and share?
I don't feel like it should be my responsibility. But if that's going to be, if it's going to be that, I don't want any help. I'll fix it. It's mine.
This is just me talking.
I'm saying, but I mean, I'm getting to an edge here. If you guys aren't going to fix it, I don't want any help. I'll fix it. But I pay taxes in this county, and like I said, for 25 years, I've never picked up that phone. I finally had a reason to, and then I get this kind of bureaucracy. So either you're going to help me fix it, or I don't want to hear another word from you. I'll fix it myself. But if we're back to the position where it's not on the county maps, I can prove to you that the maps are wrong. So if you guys can't look past that and say, okay, the maps are wrong, this is 254, if it ends at their property, and we fix it, or we say the maps are right, and I'll fix it myself. But that's how we're going to leave it. But I like I said, for 25 years, I fixed every approach on that bridge when I could have called up and complained about it. What all been on record. We're fixing 254 for the 17th time. You would have had it on record. It's a county road, but I never called one time. So now it's not on record. It's abandoned for your say. So now here I am.
I feel your pain. No question.
So should you want me to be one of those people that every time something goes wrong, call you up every time something's wrong? I could have done that. It would have been on record for 20 years that there was an issue on that bridge.
Every time the tubes get plugged, call them.
So I'm just saying, so we would have had it on record then there was a county road because you guys would have been down there every year, but I didn't.
I think Mr. Garion said something about the roads were, after the new highway went in, there was roads vacated.
Correct.
Were they officially closed? Or are you just talking about?
The highway went through and cut the roads in half.
Right.
If anybody is familiar.
But when you said the word vacated, to me that is that they were actually on record and went through to be closed.
They weren't closed.
Officially closed.
They stormed into and you couldn't get through them anymore. You had to go around.
Okay, well that's what it indicated to me, and I thought, well, maybe that was officially closed at that point at that intersection.
No, they weren't never closed.
If you're familiar with that area, this road wrapped around and came out. Does anyone know where Gene Service lives?
I don't.
Right across from Kenny Half's driveway. That's 254 as it is speaks. It comes over that hill and comes down to Gene Services and Phil Weatherford's driveway. That is the very end of what used to be 254, but it's 254th now. When the highway went through, they gave him access. That was his access. Well, we own everything to the north on both sides of the township line, so there was no more need for that road to go on past them. We own that whole 250 acres. There's nothing else there. So Gene Service had access from the new highway to his property. From there, access went to Frank Wentz's, and we just, like you said, basically vacated the rest of the
And
road.
that was back in 71, right?
Whenever that highway went through.
74.
This gentleman, well, it was 71 or 70, I was driving in 71.
From 1979 to 1991, we were when I worked at the county for all those years. We reconcreted the tubes, the 3 tubes have been there for years. Like Greg said, they're all rusted out now. But the same 3 tubes, we would put a 6-inch overlay of concrete on the uphill side, across the driving area, and on the downhill side. County did it, I guarantee you, at least 6 times. I know I was there.
Okay.
Sir, what's your name?
Jack
Jack Ross. Kenny?
Okay, there's 3 roads. You talked about, Mr. Bauer talked about, hey, was there any other changes made? I live on a dead-end road. And that was caused by the highway. The road coming up from the other service quarry, dead ends at the east end. Well, it doesn't go to the high, but it dead ends over the hill right down to the north of the new highway, the bridge right there by my house. Okay, there's a township road at the top of that hill up from the quarry that goes north. It goes north to the old Zabel property, and that's a township road. And that dead ends. So you've got 3 areas there that are now dead end roads that were maintained by Walnut Township and have been all my life. And
70-foot iron.
and they are used, and they are used at
And they're probably listed as township roads.
yeah, there's somebody that lives on this road, but the township will take care of those roads and make sure that they can get their crop out. And they always have.
These are
There shouldn't be some
stuff that
record
the wife
of
found
every
yesterday.
bridge at some point in time. You know that had to be a county built, that wasn't a resident built bridge. If we just had some kind of record to show that.
We're talking about 50, 60 years ago. So,
You're labeled.
Well, I think it's worth definitely looking into to see if there are other records existing that show that it is a county bridge, or that it is a road that has been opened at some point.
My wife
So-
came up here yesterday afternoon and she done some looking some maps. This in here shows a 70-foot iron bridge to cross the Walnut Creek. It's in section 30 down there. I'm not sure if that's the one that they were
Is this
talking
Walnut
about.
Creek, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's crossing Walnut Creek down there.
In section 30.
Yep.
Yeah. 3621.
That's it.
And you got a picture of the bridge?
So that looks like it's from the road.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like it's.
Some old picture, but it didn't.
I don't know where she found the map. Those pictures that she took. Section.
Yeah, those look like your road records.
She was in my office yesterday.
Pardon?
She was in my office yesterday. Just come from the projects. Records.
Well, we can sure check that.
good. So we're gonna check this. You guys are right.
We're gonna check that, but we're gonna stop blowing them off. Is there
So
something
I don't wanna blow them off
that we
either.
can check it out?
Yes.
Well, there's places we can at least try to
Well,
find
in the first
information.
place is county clerk records in the clerk's office.
But somebody already found the bridge, if it's the bridge,
I haven't looked at it. If you wanna, if you wanna make a decision based on that without looking at it, you're welcome to do that. If you wanna have her bring him over here to look at it in the meeting, you're welcome to do that. If you're asking me whether I can guarantee that that's what the road records say, I can't, but I can look at it. So whatever you want me to do, I'll do it.
Can we go to the road and bridge department? Do they have journals of working on the crossing out there?
I don't think there's been any dispute that they did work on it and did maintain it.
Do they have any other kind of archives that say what they done back in the years? I mean, ever since computers came out, paperwork's gotten lost.
Yeah.
So,
we have a ex-county employee who said he overlaid it
yeah.
6 times. I mean, which is such a.
And Mark Gentry's affirmed that he's worked on it. I mean, that's not in dispute that it has been maintained. Now,
Right.
whether that was work maintaining a private bridge or whether it is an actual county bridge, that's what's in.
So why would have they made a decision 20 or 30 years ago, a couple times, to work on a bridge that wasn't a county bridge or county crossing?
Maybe they didn't check on it. I don't know. I can't answer for them.
Well, evidently it got passed at a commission meeting then that it was a county road to be able to maintain it, or they wouldn't have had jurisdiction to go down there.
Well, they're very could be done administratively by the road and bridge department.
When I talked to Bob Jackson Friday, his dad, one that he was telling me, his dad remembered the iron bridge that was taken out by the flood, and that his dad was actually the one that helped put the low water crossing in. So evidently his dad worked for the county too. And then Bob was telling me that they maintained it, and he started with the county in 1970. And he also told me, you know, it was a township road then, which I already knew it was a township road. How I didn't get it marked on the map, if I marked them. I mean, I remember doing the minimum maintenance signs and stuff and trying to figure out how many gravel roads we had and dirt roads. But I don't remember drawing roads and stuff. I mean, you know, I forget too, you know, like everybody else. But we've always gone to his gates, turned around, and came back. Now, my old operator that I had was with the township longer than I was, and he's passed away. So he told me it was always a township road. His name was Dick Reynolds. I mean, he passed away a year or so ago. But he was the road grader man for me, road grader man for Dick Toll, and he's the road grader man before that. So, I mean, like Mark is saying, that road was the way they went in to get to the rock core years ago, but it never was a drive-through road for public. It always went to the left. When the quarry opened that road up, then that road went through. Now, if you go up to where Lutz's was, that road went over the hill and connected to another road that come out over there by Sturton somewhere. I mean, all these roads have changed. Well, where you live, Wichita Road, used to go through there years ago, and it closed down. Well, when his dad was alive, he tried to get that road back opened up, which they were going to do, and then they went backwards on him and didn't do it. I mean, me and your dad had that conversation for years. He supplied the tubes and put them in, and that road was never put back in. So there's a lot of argument over that back in the day. So, I mean, this is a deal here that, you know,
With the
you
fact
gotta have access.
that you talk about the old bridge, I would think that has to be a township. I don't think that ever did.
I suspect that's true
How
too.
do we go about, if we fix it, that we definitely make sure that that is a township road? That it's on record? Is that something we can do?
I don't know what records exist, so yes, you want to make sure that there's documentation of the road. I don't know whether there is or not.
But I would also say this, if we do agree, we are so swamped and we're starting to hire stuff out, and that might be the case. I don't know, I'm just talking out of school on this.
Well, I'm going to say, I don't know how timely, if we could do it, when we would get to it, because
Be able to get to it. 2 or 3 months.
I mean,
Well, you got
That's,
bigger
that, I mean,
things.
if
that's.
you guys agree to fix it, I'll live with the decision when that is. I'll fight through it. But I mean, if I've got a big problem, I got a big problem. But I mean, it's inconvenient for me as long as the water will stay low enough that I can cross. They can't even get to their property.
Mr. Bauer, I'm going to heard him say, what would you want us to do? If you purchase 3 36-inch to 40-foot line, and every time we ever fixed it through those 18 years, it was no more than 15, 18 yards of concrete on it. So a matter of 20 yards of concrete and 3 tubes, and none of us will ever live long enough to see that be a problem again.
I would agree with him and disagree. If the county's gonna fix it, I don't think putting 3-foot tubes and pouring concrete's gonna solve the problem. If we're gonna fix it, I think we need to fix it correct.
I think you need
It's
to
all the
put in
problem.
like a
40 years.
box culvert and raise the road.
Raise the road level.
Because right now, if I was to try to move down there, I wouldn't be able to get in and out if it rained. You know, I'd like to move back down there, but I gotta go to work every day. It's not feasible for me.
So there is a house that's
My grandma and grandpa's old house is down there, but I'd have to put in a new house. But
okay.
right now, it's not feasible for anybody to live down there because the last guy we had down there moved out 2 years ago because he couldn't get in and out to go to work. So,
But you're still going to be at a point where you've got to make a decision that the cost is too great to fix it completely correct. I mean, I don't know where that number is, but at some point in time, you got to say this doesn't make sense, and you got to go with Plan B. And I mean, back when I called, you know, in May, if it would have just been an overlay, you know, the tubes are rotten, so we need that. But if we put something new in, and every time there's a little issue, if it would be maintained, it'd be pretty minimal. But now we've got a whole big issue.
I think with the tube being rusted out, Mark, it's just a matter.
Oh, it's just a matter of time.
If you did put overlay, it would have been.
it just boiled off.
Thrown away.
But there's been enough change in current on up towards Marlatz and north. That creek is carrying more water than it ever has, and those were 3-foot tubes. You know, 5-foot tubes, something bigger to hold more volume is what it needs.
You need to hide.
And that's true. That's the bigger the tide. If you had a bigger tube, you're going to raise it up.
And that's not the erosion coming out of Mark's field there on the north too, and that'll stop a lot of the silt from silting in too. Then you could drive across.
Mark, how long had that low water crossing been in there?
The one that's there now?
No, the one that.
The one that's there now, Mark Gentry said he helped put it in, so that had to be in like I said, in the late 80s, late 70s, early 80s.
Okay, so somewhere between,
Okay.
so somewhere between 20 and 30 years.
Yes. And that's what I said, we're back to it's not on record, but I guess it would have been on record if every time something happened, I got on the phone and complained, but I didn't, I just fixed it.
You give us too much credit for our record.
It would have been on record somewhere where I was being a pain in the commissioner's butt. Someone would have noticed me.
Somebody would remember.
Right. Instead, I just fixed it.
There might not be a record on it.
So I guess if you guys are at a point where you're going to consider fixing it, I'll be appreciative. And if it's going to be 2 or 3 months, I'll work through it. But if you're not going to fix it, I don't want to have 2 or 3 months go by and you tell me it's not going to be fixed. Because that 2 or 3 months, I'll fix it myself. So
We had a brief discussion about this morning, and I said, we're going to need to come up with an answer in a very short period of time, because either if you're not going to be happy, but if you have to do it, you're going to do it.
I'm going to do it now. I'm not going to wait 3 months and then have to go in and fix it.
And so we did have that discussion. I do know that that's part of it.
So this is the 2nd of July. When can we reasonably give them a decision?
You could know by next week.
So we're going to need to know about the costs.
Well, if it's
The cost doesn't determine whether or not whose responsibility it is.
I understand.
So we should be able to find out, determine whether or not it was officially open today. Or not.
and you said there was 3-foot tubes, and how long were they approximately?
Check said 40 foot.
30 or 40.
Yeah. And I mean, to fix it, like Bill said, to fix it right is one thing. To fix it to where it's going to last another 20 or 30 years, my opinion, I'm not an engineer, but I think the bigger the tubes, the more volume. If you had a 4 or 5 foot tube You're gonna handle more water and concrete over it. It's not gonna be perfect, but that's gonna be a minimal cost. And I think it's a lot of water to go through it, and it'll save us 20 or 30 years.
So this is about as high as the water gets this year.
I have seen it going up the road towards the quarry. And
Right.
When it washed out, was that during the big flood that was in Atchison at the same time?
It got
In the
washed
50s?
out when we had that last big rain.
the last 6-inch rain that we had, that's when it washed all.
Well, I was talking about the
previously.
original.
I
can't
can't remember. Late
remember.
50s, wasn't
Yeah.
it, when Atchison got flooded?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been the case, but
We've had,
Could I
we've
ask,
had 22 inches of rain since the 1st of April in my area.
And that's also part of not getting there, I'm sure, is that we have
Here's
been
another
swamped.
question.
Our road and bridge department has been swamped, and we've got
Here's
So what
another question. Central Kansas has been declared the declaration disaster, which included us, from April 28th. This twos were gone April 28th. That's something that FEMA could go in and share the cost.
We have pictures.
And if
Yeah.
And
they may
then-
ask for if it was a county bridge.
Well,
It didn't matter.
I'm
on the
sure
last
somebody
one
can
we've
find
been
these
through.
records, because it was a bridge. I mean, I've got 4 guys in their 80s that remember driving over it with wagons and horses and stuff. And, you know, here's one guy here that's lived there his whole life. There was a number on that bridge. Whether you can't remember it, but I mean, there was a bridge, and it's always been a township road. You know, I mean, just have to dig deeper and find the records. When I was with Roger down there, we found records of Sumner, town of Sumner back in 1865 when a tornado went through there and wiped the town out. You know, I had to deal with Moses over a road. Showed where the roads were. There were never really roads. Back in the day they was, but they were, nobody took care of them for 30, 40 years.
So are you
know,
saying
they want
now,
me to pay an expense on cleaning up some of the road. Wasn't even the road.
are you agreeing with that, with our bookkeeping system, that the road, that those maps are correct?
Back in the ones that he showed me were correct. Not why they don't have them back in the 60s or 1800s for this one down here, because them roads were there in the 1800s. Those roads were all there.
I would like to ask the 3 commissioners and the county council and Roger Denton to step out in the hallway for, say, 5 minutes and discuss. And then we'll come back in, we'll do this thing.
You
can't do
cannot
that.
discuss this outside the public meeting.
Okay, then we'd have to ask the people to leave.
No.
Well, they can't.
It's a public meeting.
Public meeting.
I think if you want more information, we can get more information from you. If we'd rather make a decision without having the information.
I'd like to get more information, but make a decision next week.
Yeah.
Not make a decision in a month, make a decision next week.
They do need a
And
decision.
they can
one
come
way or
back
another.
and, look, you know, here's a decision or whatever.
You said you had some.
That's only me saying.
I agree with you.
Okay.
That's exactly what I
I
was
mean,
proposing.
photographs of other FEMA things we've gone through,
Oh.
that it doesn't matter if it's a county road or a township road. When it rains and stuff floods in our township, we get it straight from the river. Because we've been through this 4 times already. If this is gonna be our next FEMA, it will be our 5th since he's been in. 'Cause I've been record keeping before him. Okay? And I apologize to you, Mark, here, because I might not have gotten all my yellow line going the right way to that way and stopping there, because I don't know.
that's what I said, it was just an error whenever that was
Yeah.
provided, the information provided.
And I'll say that, I don't know, and I am the one that helps fill that kind of stuff out for the whomever sends it, US Census and all that junk.
Mhm.
So, and I just know it goes here, so I didn't know it turned or whatever.
Okay.
Clerical error, number 1. Not number
Is it
1.
possible some of you all need to come back next Tuesday?
Weekend,
We will,
Tuesday.
I'd like to make a decision
I'll-
today.
I'll make it a point to, if that's what it takes. But like I said, I appreciate a decision next week, because if it's a good one for my part, you guys are gonna fix it, great. If it's not, I'm not gonna go 2 months waiting on a decision if I'm gonna have to fix it myself.
I understand.
I understand now. And I addressed that earlier, like I said, you know, that you have to have a decision that's not too long.
Nope, we've got ours, we've got a set. Give those back to Michelle.
Well, thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Will 1:30 work for you guys next week?
Yeah.
1:30?
Okay.
Thank y'all.
So can I give you this? So you could please only read those pictures.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Roger.
I will make it a point to get with Michelle and see if we can find anything else. My problem is, I look at the bridge records, I look at the road records, I look at what I have of the county's records, and it's a hole. It doesn't show anything.
Yep.
And so I can't tell you.
Yep.
And when that occurs, this is not a rare occasion. Issues like this come to the county constantly. If they're unresolvable, they come to the commission. It's not been that long ago Mr. Shepherd spent many weeks in here. We get a lot of these from time to time. We just ended up fixing another one that wasn't there.
Well, the Smith Bridge, we did end up closing that because of this very same issue. And that was a much larger, more expensive structure that.
I don't think the line, I'm no changeman. If there was a wooden bridge put on there at one time, what we haven't approved of that, that makes a big difference.
Okay, so is there anything else, Pat, that you have in your report? We need an executive session.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Do we need an executive session for anything? I guess the answer is no. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn at 2:32.
And I'll second.
32.
Thank you.
We were gonna have to look through this.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. I thought you said just a second.